I
That's the
like it.
speedy intro.
Yeah.
Very short row.
Well, Chanel heard your intro. Speaking
Hey,
of
Chanel.
intros,
Well, we're already like 6 minutes late, so I figured we'll do the very short intro versus the countdown
Yeah.
intro.
good idea.
And I hear you really well, Charlotte. You're just really kind of wavy.
I'm frozen. Okay, I got on
And you're
Wi-Fi,
not
so I'm on.
frozen. You're just not. It's like you're out of focus.
Weird. Okay, well, let's see if
So that's
that
where
better.
we're at with you.
Was it making? Just be a little. I'll be a little wompy, catawampus.
That's okay.
Tis the
So
day.
how's it? We're talking
I was
business and
going to say
how's
it's kind of right in line with your day.
that's kind of like with your day. Mine too. Maybe
It
we all ought
is.
to go wavy.
Just go do some circles in the interstate, Tanya. That'll wake you up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
I don't think
No.
Tanya. No, I have
Is
a.
this
You'll
something
have
you
to.
can share now that we're live, or is this going to be after
Oh
we
yeah,
stop the
no,
live
no,
stream?
no. It's actually I made a little post about it. You'll see it in my reel today. But yeah, I was driving down I-65 with some bald tires this morning, and it was raining. And I hydroplaned, did a 360 at 70 miles per hour. Cars all around me, like Karen saw the video. There's cars everywhere. Missed
Everywhere.
every single car. Went down a ditch into really tall grass. The grass slowed my car down. Came to a stop facing the right direction. Got out of my car, walked around. I'm like, my car's okay. I'm okay. I'm just gonna drive back off. just, and I
You were
drove
so lucky.
Yes,
so
right?
lucky, and then just drove myself right to a discount tire and bought myself some new tires. So that's been my day today.
All right. So, what was the lesson learned in this little fiasco?
When your husband says, Charlotte, your tires were bald 2 weeks ago, heed the mechanic. Heed the
Yes.
mechanic.
That did come to my mind. I'm like, I bet you've heard this.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. For sure.
Oh, you're so lucky. Yesterday, I was driving home from getting an. You're frozen, Charlotte. Yeah. Yesterday, when I was driving home from getting my MRI, there was a sign saying accident 35 miles ahead. And I'm on the one lane stretch going over the mountain pass, right? So from Eugene to La Pine, there's that mountain pass. And so it's one lane, and occasionally it opens up to two so you can pass, right? So there's signs saying 35 miles ahead, accident. And then it was like 10 miles ahead, accident. So I'm waiting and waiting for this accident. And then it just went to accident ahead, accident ahead. And it just kept saying, I'm like, okay, already, give me the accident. Yet I wasn't sure I wanted it, right?
Right.
But it was enough, or it was like enough already. Just let's have the accident.
Right.
And it was a huge semi truck, those real long, huge semis. And on some parts of the road on the right, it's a real long, deep, and some places it's not so deep and steep, like you could jump down it. And other places you're like, no, you don't want to drive into the ditch, right? I don't know if you'd survive it. Well, this semi was lucky. He literally totally turned over upside down, tires in the air. But
Scary.
It is very scary.
and so there was no ambulance or anything anymore. It was just all roped off at that point. But yeah, and it was a beautiful sunny day. It wasn't snow or ice or anything. So no bald tires.
No ball ties. I
No.
think the funniest part of the spinning out was I was on the phone with Amanda, who's in my Knoxville market. And we were talking, and I realized I lost control. I was like, oh, hey, Amanda, hold on. I'm having an accident. I'm spinning right now off the interstate. Oh, hold on a second. Okay. All right. Well, I'm okay. And she's like, wait, did you just have an accident and say, hold on a second, I'm having an accident?
May I call you back, please?
I was like, you're used to dealing with chaos when that is your body's reaction. That was the endorphin or the fear level that I got. Hold on a moment. I'm spinning off the interstate.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
I feel like
wild.
that says something about the real estate industry. I think it really does talk a little bit to the chaos that we are used to managing.
I would completely.
So we're going to continue this discussion on chaos and how it becomes normal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so somebody says, I'm done, I'm leaving you because you're living in chaos and I don't want to live in that chaos anymore. Or your body, because this has happened where I've had a client in the past end up in the hospital, and the husband called me and asked me what kind of coach I was, that I allowed his wife to end up in the hospital with exhaustion and anxiety and dehydration. And I'm like, the kind that I'm sorry, a set client is not listening, taking advice, or wanting to change.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The response back to that is, what kind of husband are you that lets your wife do that? When he says she won't listen to me, say, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about the same woman.
It's weird how that works.
It's weird.
Yeah.
However, we do get used to, some of us get used to the chaos, and it's hard to get out of it. And so I'm going to ask you, Charlotte, how often do you see that happen in your industry? But Karen had some heads up. So any comments or advice or aha moments around, I guess the question is, what stops some realtors to get help?
Right.
Be it an assistant or a TC or a runner or a showing agent, what stops them from doing it?
Yeah. And it's addictive. And in our industry, I think that there's some people that are just more prone to chaos, and they feel like life isn't normal without that chaos. And they manage it well. There's some people that can manage a much higher level of chaos than others, but it's the people that manage it so well that they don't recognize that it's getting out of hand, and that's when they're starting to hurt their bodies. So it often takes a wake up call. I hate to say it, but it just takes a wake up call. Either your body just shutting down to where you have to stop, like something is really wrong. But the people that can manage it the best chaos managers, the ones that don't get super stressed out and just can manage the day-to-day chaos, will eventually have. Your body can only take so much of it. Eventually, there's a level.
You mean eventually they get bald tires and spin out? Can we use that as a metaphor?
I don't know. Yeah, we could maybe spin out uncontrollably and say, "I'm not loving this," as you're doing it.
Well, I think it's very interesting. There's a lot of things in life like this where we tolerate stuff for so long that it becomes the normal. And then we start tolerating a little bit more on top of that. And then that becomes the normal. And we forget, right, what a true normal, whatever, situation we're talking about is, because we've come so far from it.
Right.
At one point, there was a seminar we probably were all at, and it was great. They did a visual and they drew a little circle where you're standing here. And in this case, it was about growth, right? In this case, you went basically like to a different lily pad or a different stone. And so now you're standing over here and you see different things, and then so on and so forth. And I believe the same is true in the opposite as well, right? We forget what we've added on and are now tolerating.
Yeah.
I recently took a vacation like I haven't taken in a very long time, where I was almost completely away from my phone and my emails. I had it all set up for other people to handle for me. And I was super physically active because I had a certain goal. And I didn't realize what my stress level was like until it was time to get back into the game of work. And I realized, oh, wow, I was really wound up tight.
Yeah. So the fear of letting go, I know it's not just lenders or realtors, it's most business owners. It would be for me. I mean, I'm not in a spot where I need an assistant or I need to hire junior coaches, and I wouldn't do that. However, that's what a realtor would say, oh, I need to hire a showing agent or something like that.
Right.
I mean, I understand the fear of somebody not doing a good job and losing a client, yet it has to happen. I mean, is there an alternative that I'm not thinking of when it comes to calming the chaos?
I don't know that there's an alternative, but I think one of the answers is not really knowing how to tell somebody what you need. That's a skill, right? So you can hire a body and they can be there, but are you going to be able to let go of some of this stuff? In not the control piece of it, there's that, but just the ability to convey what you need.
I think that step one and I'm just thinking back to people that I work with and people that I coach. Step one to controlling the chaos is discernment. It is discerning what is truly urgent and what are you making urgent that shouldn't be. And there is this, and that is fear driven. Right, it's 100% fear driven, because I'm scared that if I don't do it right now, I'm going to lose the client, or I'm scared if I don't do it right now, I'm not going to get, it's, I've this level of expectation. And when I work with my loan officers, I work with some people that really want to be perfect. Like they want to give this perfect experience. And sometimes that blurs into, I have got to be urgent and on the spot right now. And the first thing I coach them is, we've got to discern what is urgent and what isn't. Because if everything is urgent, you're living in chaos all the time, and you can't delegate because you can't
And then
trust.
nothing's urgent if everything's urgent.
Right. Right. And then everything becomes an absolute crap show, if you will. So I think learning that discernment and being able to just pause for just 2 seconds and say, does this have to be done now? Maybe even asking. I coach my loan officers. When the realtor calls and says, hey, I need a pre-qual for blah, 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 say, great. When do you need this by? When's the latest time you can get that? Asking. Don't assume they need it right now, because a lot of times that agent's out showing properties, they're not going to be back at their computer for a couple hours anyway. So
Right.
we give ourselves this sense of urgency by natural tendency, without taking a step back and saying, is this urgent? And thus it leads to chaos. I think step one is discernment. You got to figure that out.
Well, I know all three of us know the Stephen Covey Big Rocks, Little Rocks, Sand,
Yeah.
right? I mean, he's got a phenomenal video where, right, most of us will do the sand and the water because it's easier or quicker, and not doing the big rocks first, and then putting the medium rocks and the little rocks, and then pouring the sand all in, and it all fits.
Right.
So you're right, Charlotte. It's like, what's the most important thing we do? But I'm even going to go something before that. But Karen, you first, and then I'm going to, even before the discernment, there's something.
I don't think I have a pulse on what you're going to say, but I'm just going to kind of tap into what Charlotte was talking about. There's a lot of things that end up going much better when we give them a little time, right? Either the person who thinks that they need something from us figures it out themselves, or we have the ability to step back and really ponder how we want to respond and give a better, more thorough response, as opposed to a very quick response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to use the B word. Anybody want to guess the B word?
Boundaries.
Yay! And there's boundaries, right? Like, hey mom, can you watch my kids? And it's like, sure, but and then all of a sudden you put yourself in a complete chaotic situation with clients and kids or grandkids, and there are boundaries too, which I would hope would start with your miracle morning and getting yourself centered with my goals, what are my big rocks, my little rocks, my sand. And so many times I will say to a client who put in, say, 2 hours of lead generation and building relationships, and maybe having lunch and then doing a couple Popeyes or whatever that looks like, right? Going to a networking group, right? That's at least a big rock, if not a very large medium rock to do, and it's in their calendar to do it. And then someone will call and say, well, can you show me a house at 10 o'clock versus maybe the 5 phone calls for anniversaries had to happen.
Right.
And they'll say yes.
Yeah.
Where it could say, you know what, I have an appointment at 10 to 11. Can we meet at 11:30? Sure, no problem. Right?
Right.
So it's setting boundaries and knowing what your yeses are, and being able to use that word no, or not now, maybe later.
Or at least if you can just take this first step of finding out if it's possible to have the boundary. Like, okay, and that example you just gave, can we do it? I've got an appointment from 10 to 11. Could we possibly do 12? If they say, oh, I really can't, I've got this, then you can make a decision. But at least ask to try to keep the boundary, right? At least just start with the ask. That's step one. Just try to put it in there. No, that's... Makes
my
all the
first
difference.
broker that I had, she said, you write your own job description much more than you think you do. And that there's a lot to be said for that, right? So if you you start jumping as soon as someone says jump without qualifying it at all, you are setting the tone for how it's going to go, therefore writing
Right.
your job description.
Yeah. And so then what comes after the B word is the C word, which is confidence. Because when and I've been there, when we first start out, we don't have the confidence. Someone tells us we have to be available 24/7.
And then sometimes there's the D word, desperation.
Yes, there we go. We're gonna.
Are we going all the way through the alphabet?
Then there's the E word, which means execute.
There's the F word, but I don't think we should go
No,
there.
we're only you, Charlotte. And true, right? I'm not blushing. I just put on some rouge this afternoon.
There you go. There you go.
Show me that container.
That's right. That's right.
Oh God. Anyway. So yes, it is setting some boundaries. So I'll give it a little example from somebody that I coach where it's, I mean, at some point, how much more money do you have to make even? You know, so if you net in your pocket after taxes 400,000, right? Isn't that enough? Or isn't it okay to lower it to 350 or 325 so that we aren't right in chaos and missing out on all your kid stuff and date night? You know, it's like at what point where is enough?
But that's not the American way. I mean, the American way is more, right? It is really hard to take that step back and think, I'm willing to sacrifice for this. You know, it's interesting. I was talking to a girl that I work with, and I was so impressed today with her husband because we were just talking and she was saying that she would never want my job because she's got young children. She wouldn't want to travel. And she said her husband actually recently was offered a really big promotion, and it would have been a nice financial promotion, but it would require him travel 4 days a week. And he just said, no, thank you. My family is more important to me. Thank you for thinking of me. But he passed on it. And I'm like, that is so hard for the American dream and the American way. And how impressed am I with, I don't know that I would have done that. I told her, it's like, I hope to think that if I was put in that position when my kids were young, I would have done that. But Charlotte's not, I have that go, go, go mentality. It's hard for me to step back and think. So many props to the father that says, no, I don't want that because I want to spend the time with my young kids. That's amazing. It's a great philosophy.
It really is. And Tanya, to the point of the example you were giving, you know, is 400,000 enough? Where's the top? You know, there's another perspective because some people want those accolades, right? Some people want to be able to reach that goal. You know, what about focusing on turning some of that money back into someone else's business? So, you know, hire a driver, hire someone to do laundry, hire someone to whatever. So you're putting food on someone else's table. Like, yes, you're super successful at making money through real estate or lending or what, you know, whatever it is, but you're not successful in the other parts of your life. However, you can help someone else
hire
and help yourself.
I mean, yes,
Bye.
you're bringing home 400,000, so you can hire an assistant and pay them 50,000 a year, right? So you're bringing home 350. Which
or no pair. I mean, it might be that you need a no pair to help with the laundry and the cooking and that stuff.
Right.
You need to decide where you can put that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
and then Karen, you mentioned it earlier, and it doesn't mean you could still make 400. It's just calmer and more organized and efficient now.
And there's a lot of pride in putting money in someone else's family budget too. There's a lot there. I mean, that feels really good. And that's a big drive for me, right? I have some people that count on me to do what I do so that they can continue to earn the money from, right? It's a good driver.
Absolutely. It is a good driver. Yeah.
And, you know, back to the original question, like what stops people from doing that? I do think that in a commission-based business, that provided a little bit of fear for me in the beginning because someone else was going to be counting on me to make money other than myself and my family, right? Like if I hired this person, but that's just part of being in business.
I was going to say, name a business that's not the case. You just have to realize that you're a business just like any factory that you could go work for, and they can also close their doors. It's nerve-wracking to think that you're holding somebody else's job in your hand. But at the flip side, that's what business
That's
is.
what
And
we
even
do. Yeah,
that's what we do.
It
Yeah.
is.
yeah,
It's always a
Yeah.
risk.
it
It's funny.
is.
I was talking to a loan officer who has an assistant, and as with many who do bite the bullet and get the assistant, there are delegation issues. And I think that comes back to the chaos and feeling like you have to handle it right now because you can do it better. And I gave some advice, and I feel like this kind of follows into the chaos. And that is one, you're going to love this, Tanya, having the system to where there are things that automatically are known. This is not a known. You don't have to talk about it every single time. So I said, one, you've got to put that system, that checklist in place, something that you absolutely know. So if you're going to go and you say, okay, I'm going to get that assistant. I'm going to get that au pair. I'm going to get somebody to help with whatever that is. Don't wing it. Have very specific, like, there's going to be some stuff you wing. There's going to be some stuff that flies in that you've got to get in there, but there should be immediately some sort of system that gives you immediate relief and you can not think about it. That
Right.
I think is super important to, if you're going to start letting go and let go of the chaos.
Yeah. So when I have clients that'll say, okay, I'm going to hire an assistant. What am I going to do with my free time? I always get that question. I'm like, well, what am I going to do with my free time? And I'll say 80% of it needs to be growing your business. And we can negotiate the percentage. So it's like typically 80% is to grow your business. And then the other 20% is to go home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Go get
Have
a massage.
that
Take your
time.
kids on a vacation. Something.
Mhm.
But however, it's not 80% go home. Right?
Right.
It is. We're going to now have time and calm and efficiency to grow your business and go home.
Yeah. Have a rest. Yeah. I was just talking to the loan officer tonight, and like, we need to have a 7-day vacation. Like we just said, Karen, take an actual vacation where you unplug. As loan officers, we feel like if we do this, that the realtors are going to cheat on us and they're going to use somebody else and they're not going to come back. There's real fear there where I can't trust that this is going to get done. That should be every loan officer's goal, is to take a week off, like really take a week off.
Yeah.
Don't take your computer with you, which is unheard of for us. We don't take your computer. Don't take your computer. Take a real week. You don't have to do it every week, but once you should take a week off at least. Go enjoy it.
2 to 4 weeks a year minimum.
Without your computer, that's a stretch, Shani. I don't know
Okay,
that
so I'll
I
say
can
2
handle all
weeks
that.
minimum.
So let's talk about like insurance, right? If you did that, whatever, twice a year, you would have some insurance that if something happened to you and you had to take a month off for some reason, that you have some systems in place that where people can help you. But you won't know that if you don't test it when it's not an issue.
Yeah.
And
it's like a little test.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so there is a person that I do not coached by somebody else, and I know you know of her, where every year for 1 month she goes to a different country and immerses herself. I don't know if I said that correctly. I know you know her, right?
Yeah.
Once a month, every year she goes, and then she comes back and has a client party that's geared around that country she went to.
That's
and her
cool.
entire team takes over, and her entire database, networking, everything, where business comes from, knows she's gone this month every year.
It's very cool.
It is.
Love that.
And
Love that.
she doesn't have a different genetic DNA makeup than anybody else.
No.
What I love most about that is she uses this passion that she has to then connect it to her business.
Yep.
That was my favorite part of that whole story, is she brings it back and then shares that culture with the people that she so they're excited for where she's going. That's
and then she's gonna have a huge party when she gets back, and they know either they wait till she gets back or her teammates are well trained to take care of whatever business they need to take care of.
It's brilliant. Love it.
Yeah,
it is. There's a tech company that requires their employees every 7 years to take 7 months off, and they change their passwords. They take their phones. They cannot access something if they wanted to.
Wow.
I love that.
I know, isn't that amazing? So it does a lot of things. it makes sure you're doing your job right, because someone's going to be doing it for you for 7 months, right? If
Right.
you're leaving things undone, it's going to be known.
Yeah.
It ensures that you have trained people to back you up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's brilliant for the company, and it's also brilliant for what they're doing for their employees. 7
Yep.
months
Yeah.
off every
Yeah.
7 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy. And it is so lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh.
interesting. I know the fear there would be, what if they don't miss me? That would be that's the first thing I thought of, is what if they didn't miss me?
well, there is always that thing that any therapist will tell you when you're off balance, or a really good coach too, that one day something could happen and you don't come back to work, and the business is going to go on.
It will continue. Yeah.
It will
Humbling,
continue.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. So
true.
somebody SOS me yesterday, a client SOS me, and one of their primary managers is leaving.
Mm.
And after we talked it through and calmed down and started to breathe, he actually said to me, I guess everybody's replaceable. I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
But it just took some
Very
time
true.
to calm down, get over the ego of how could he leave me kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? How dare he? And then it's like, oh, wait, he's replaceable. Like, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all are.
We all are.
We all
Yep.
are.
And we should be grateful, because I don't want to work until my last breathing day.
Me either. One of my kids asked me the other day, like, Mom, how long are you going to coach for? I says, well, I'm going to wind it down in about, 6 years. I'll wind it down, and then I'm going to pick and choose, like who stays, who I refer out, right? I mean, that's the joy of getting older.
Yep, sure is.
Because I love what I do. I don't want to totally say, sorry, see ya. However, I right now coach 33 realtors, and then my executives and, mortgage professionals. I'm not sure I want that at, 70.
Right.
Yeah.
When I first started in the business, I was a rep for title and escrow company. So I was in the offices viewing how things were working all the time, right? I was a visitor, and there was this one office, and there wasn't anybody in the office that was probably even under 70. Nobody was ever actually at that office regularly. And they all just held a license just to do whatever little bit of business they wanted to. So there was no pressure. And I just thought, what a great thing. They all had really good careers, and they still liked doing real estate, but didn't want it to be their lifestyle anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So for realtors out there that are looking at ways of growing their business, snoop around the office or whatever and see who's aging out.
Yeah.
That's a great way. And same thing with lending, right? It's a great way to help somebody age out and perhaps get some residual income from it. Right.
It's a win-win for both of them. Yeah.
Yep. It's a win-win. Yep. All right. So one more question before we hang up. Again, these are all things that I've dealt with coaching clients this last few weeks. Is someone saying the market is slow?
Ooh. The news would say that's not true. We had an uptick in applications last week, even amidst the interest rate hikes. So that is provably untrue.
Correct, right? So do we want that to be truth? Oh, poor Charlotte.
Oh, in and out.
Right? Is that true? Is it true? Is it the truth? Right? Okay, so here's my book. Don't believe everything you think, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So yes, so Charlotte's saying, is that really true? Is the market really slow?
Right.
And I usually say, is the market slow or are you slow?
Yeah. The number of transactions year to date are a bit lower than anticipated. However, there's still so much happening. There's a lot of business out there. I would say, from my perspective, the market it's a little bit hard to read what's happening, right? So buyers are trying to buy, and they think that they're still, in the driver's seat, and sellers are trying to sell, and they think that they're still in the driver's seat. And really it's kind of neither. It's back to a more traditional type market.
Right.
Like there yet, but heading there. And so I would say a lot of my clients are just a little confused about how they're supposed to act. And so we're building that muscle, and therefore it's taking more time, but not slow.
Yeah.
The pace from start to end might be slow, but not the market.
Right. Like I like what you said earlier before we went live. My pipeline is full. It's just kind of stuck.
Yeah. There's a little clog in there.
Little clog in there. We got to unclog it.
Yeah.
So what are some ways to unclog it?
Well, I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, for me, it's just consistent contact with clients, because it's easy for them, like an example, a buyer, to not go out and look at property because they think that they're not ready. But as soon as I start sending them listings, then they want to see listings. And, it's kind of easy to start some of that stuff out.
What do you want to say, Charlotte?
I was just going to say, especially right now with the interest rates being as wonky as they are, that's the one thing I would say is interest rates are wonky. They're wonky because one day they can be as low as right now 6.25%, and then like yesterday we were up to 7%. Like that's a big jump in a week, going from low 6s to low 7s. But they're wonky. It's just the nature of the industry. As a lender, what we are doing is we are having very proactive calls to our buyers. My team is to call all of their TBDs once a week and go over what they need to be asking for, because like Karen said, we are in a market where you can do some asking for seller paid closing costs and things like that. But that varies depending on what the rates are that week. So like last week, we didn't have to ask for as much closing costs. Now I'm saying, hey, we need another 1% in closing costs so we can get the payment in this price range for you. So just proactive, but thinking outside of the box as to ways that we can keep the affordability. Because what happens is when they start to feel like that's an uncomfortable payment, they start to back up and they don't want to see the houses. They don't get as active. So if you can say, okay, you can still go out there and shop. Here's how you keep your payment here. We need to ask for this. And then it just takes those listing agents to be able to educate their seller on, hey, rates are up this week. We've got to get creative. It takes communication on both sides.
Right.
Like this is what we need to do to make transactions happen. And that's working in our market. We're seeing lots of, we had more locks last month than we've had. And I had one girl that locked $9 million last month, one person. We are not slow. And I would say transactions are happening. So it takes just thinking outside the box, finding a way of making it happen to where we can have a win-win on both sides.
Yes, communication, and not waiting for if somebody's database or pipeline is full, and Karen, you already said it, and it 100%, I believe it is, you've got to communicate with them. Like, what's your fear? What's going on? What's stopping you? Where do we go from here? All my sentences is, we can't just wait for them to reach out to us.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to problem solve that fear with them.
Yeah.
So yes, communication all around and being out of the box. And that's where the good realtors and lenders.
I was going to say, agents need just to go to their lender and say, hey, this person's slow. Like, be aware. You can see when people are looking at listings, right? You see when they're opening your things.
Yep.
If you see that slow down, that's when you, hey, kid, bring a lender in. Let's see. I know that the rates are this. They're hearing this. What can we do to make them excited again, to where there's no fear? What can we do to reduce that fear so that they can move forward? Got to get that good lender that'll do that for you.
Well, then we all need magic wands to reduce fear.
We do. It's very interesting how many times I'll reach out to a potential and I will hear the comment, well, I didn't want to bother you. I'm like, please bother,
yes.
Please. So, my line is, well, I'm bothering you. Let's talk about it, right? Because there is fear there. There's a lot of unknown for them, and having discussions, like you said, Charlotte, with our lenders, so we have something to talk to our clients about that's real for them.
Yeah.
Pretty important.
Yeah.
Finding
all right, ladies,
we
are about time. Anything you want to close up with? Anything you want to promote or talk about before we wave off? Speak
I
now or
mean,
forever hold your peace.
Yeah, I have something coming up, but I don't have enough details to share. So I'll
Okay,
add
so
it
next time.
next time for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
and I've got the June 13th. If you
Yeah.
guys want to support an amazing cause, go check out my Facebook. I've got all of the Dancing with the Stars, or Let's Dance Louisville, I should say, supporting a great house. So go vote, even if it's like $10. I'd greatly appreciate it, because half of my winning, and I'm competitive, I want to win this. Half of my winning is getting people to vote for me, and to vote, you just give me a couple bucks. It'd be fantastic. I'd appreciate it. It's not
Awesome.
really,
So
and it's
yes,
not for me, of course. It's for the Sandifer house.
and put it in the private Facebook group. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll do
Or
that.
email it to me, and I'll then email it to everybody.
That'd be great. Hey,
So there's 2 ways we
supporting a
can
great
work on that.
cause.
Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you. We didn't have any chat today. I am concerned because I had quite a few clients say they were going to show up today. Diane and some other ones. So I hope this works well with the streaming. It says we're streaming. It just looks
Yeah.
different. So
It does look different. Yeah.
it does look different all the
And
way
I
around.
couldn't connect my channels when I tried, so that was a little
That
wonky.
could be wonky too. So we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see what
We'll
happens
see.
anyway. We're
worries.
not going to create chaos around this.
No.
I had fun.
Just
I'm going
post
to
it
end the
later.
stream. Bye,
All right.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.